Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of D&D Solo Nights. Previously on The Created. Welcome to the first ever episode of D&D Solo Nights. Can I get an oh yeah? My glasses! These videos will be focused on solo D&D, meaning I will both be the Dungeon Master and the Adventurers. No, not that part, you donkey. Skip ahead to the story. Amateurs. The Created.
Giuseppe?
A voice cries out.
Come on, Giuseppe. Come and join us.
He moves to answer, but hesitates.
Do you think he's okay? He'll be okay. He just needs some time alone. It's the anniversary.
Another shadow is seen. One of a child, sitting slouched on a table. You are my pride and joy, my little figlio. The child's head slowly looks at Giuseppe.
Father.
Giuseppe hesitates. Figlio? Athletics or acrobatics? This is a CR-25 creature that is chasing our mysterious man. Athletics check, +3, 13. Acrobatics check, +5, 15. The beast will take acrobatics, needing to get higher than 10. Oh! With the first critical fail, the beast cannot get past the blocked path. It comes onto the board, but the path is blocked by fallen trees and rocks, and finds difficulty trying to squeeze through the gaps, even though this beast is pretty much made of shadow. It still finds it very difficult. With a strong will and determination, he pushes himself even further. He must now make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw.
Critical
Oh no! With our second critical failure already in the game. For heaven's sake. Constitution saving throw with a DC of 10. A nat 20. Another nat 20. The giant spider dives from the trees, doing a somersault, landing onto the wooden planks and holding its front paws out like a gymnast. It makes a perfect landing. So with 1 point of exhaustion, he should have been on disadvantage for ability checks. Good to know. he was failing them anyway. And now his speed is halved. Great. Just great. Just wonderful. It's not like we want to live or anything. His speed is now halved. Does he... Let's check to see if he still gets to run, though. He does still get to run. Alright, but now his speed is halved, so it's not an extra 30, it's now an extra 15. Great. Wonderful. 5. Nope, that's a 10. So 15. There you go. Chase complications. There is a complication. For the giant spider. Uneven ground threatens to slow your progress. The ground becomes very sodden and slippery here. Little legs may find it difficult to find purchase. They must make a DC 10 acrobatics check to navigate the area. A 9. It just fails. Almost finding its way through the muddy marsh, it begins to slip and sink into the mud. The ground counts as 10 feet of difficult terrain. Moving 30 feet, so 60 feet for dashing. 5, 10, 15, 20. For 10 feet of difficult terrain. So that was up to this point. So 20, 30, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. As the spider scurries past the splattered blood from the mysterious man, its blood trail following him. Interesting effect that you can get on Foundry. We shall check another complication. There are no complications. The beast does not get any complications this time. Moving 120, wasn't it? Yes. Okay. 10, so 2. Whoa. Don't you go running away there. I only told you to go diagonally. He was getting a little bit too keen there. So, as I was going to say, 20. Water wouldn't be too difficult for him to float over. 30. 40. Oracle. Could the entity be confused by the giant spider's presence and mistakenly chase after it instead of the mysterious man? Maybe. So we need to do a check. A survival check of... with its bonuses, making it too easy, I would say a 16 or more. 16 or more. If it succeeds, it continues after the mysterious man. Fails, goes for the spider. It fails. With a roll of a 7. It does indeed mistake the spider for the mysterious man. And I didn't write how much we moved to get there. 2, 4, 5, 50. I'm gonna say that was 50. Because I don't remember. 55, 60, 65, 70, 80, 90, 120. There are no chase complications for the Shadow Horror. Oracle, with the Shadow Horror being a part of the entity, would it follow the entity's direction? Yes. So it thinks the same as the entity. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Another complication for the mysterious man. It's kind of a 50-50 shot if there's complications, and we're getting a lot of complications. If this was a coin, we'll be getting, like, heads. A lot. I think we've only had tails, maybe 3 times. The no complications. A stream, ravine, or rock bed blocks your path. As the path is getting narrow here, I will say it is due to tree roots and bushes and plants that are getting in the way. Must make a DC 10 athletics or acrobatics check. Acrobatics is 12 overall, athletics is 14. Needs to beat a 10. He did it, getting 15. Now he is exhausted though. Let's have a look at his spells, see if he has anything that might help. Misty Step might work. It's briefly surrounded by a silvery mist. You teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see. Perfect. So it will move his normal 15. 5. 15. And he will now Misty Step. An additional 30. 10. 20. 25. 30. 25. What direction would he move in? Flip a coin. Heads, he will go northeast. Tails, he will go west. Heads, he is heading northeast. I hope that is the right direction. I am not zooming out to find out. I want it to be a surprise. So, yes, he makes it there where we initially chose. I do want to try and push him a little bit more, but he's only going to be moving 15. He's really not traveling far now. There has to be something I can do to try and help. Well, it is what it is. Chase complications. There are no complications for the giant spider. Five, 15, 20, 30. How much does it move? 60, 30, 40, 45, 50, 60. There is a complication for the beast. Or the entity. I should be calling it the entity, not the beast, but I guess it doesn't matter either way. Stream, ravine, or rock beds. Again, It keeps moving. Well, it's moving through the thick forest, so there's a lot of trees and rocks in the way and bushes and stuff. It's a shadowy creature, but hey, he was critically failed on his first try to get past it, so it's gonna be affecting him every time. With a DC 10. Okay, same roll as before. It was acrobatics. Here we go. With a 9, it fails. The entity cannot get through the thick forest, and it is stuck. Oh no, just impedes the movement. Counts as 10 feet of difficult terrain. Okay, so it doesn't slow him down too much. Okay, so his first movement will be 40. No, it won't because he's moving straight up. It would normally be 10, so it's 20. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85, 105. It is on top of the spider. Oracle. Would the entity take delight in killing the giant spider? He sure would. Okay. It is an intelligent creature, so he could have ignored it. But he doesn't care. As the entity begins to loom and envelop over the giant spider, a long, shadowy arm begins to reach out and touch the spider on its back. As the entity looms over in its shadowy form, enveloping the giant spider, it reaches out with a shadowy hand, touching the spider's back with a vampiric touch. With a hit roll of 32, I can safely say that hits the spider. Dealing 10 damage. 10. 10? 10. I thought it would be much worse than that. 10 damage. Really? I was expecting the spider to die in one hit, but I guess not. Oh, you're in the way, sir. Thank you. The spider begins to shriek in pain as its life force is being sapped from its very body. 10 damage. Sure, if you say so. Oh yes, complications. There is a complication for the shadow horror. A creature indigenous to the area chases after you. Okay. There is something chasing the shadow horror. Indigenous to the area. We will say it is a badger. So, the shadow horror, the badger, seeing this entity drift by its natural habitat in an act of bravery, stupidity, and self-defense, the badger comes charging out towards the shadow horror in an attempt to fight it away from its home and protect its family, giving its life. It will attempt to bite the shadow creature. I was hoping for a nat 20 for comedic purposes. It rolls a 10, which I can safely assume is not enough. No. Okay. Part of me wanted the badger to win, but I don't see this happening somehow. The badger has 3 hit points. The shadow horror has 120. Oracle. Wait, no. Oracle sit this one out. Intelligence roll for the shadow horror. Has an intelligence of 2. It needs a DC then, as it has low intelligence. A DC of 16 or more. And it will ignore the badger. Less, and it will be distracted. 5. Certainly not good enough. It is definitely distracted by the badger. As it does a claw attack with its dark, shadowy hand. With a roll of a 15, I believe that hits the badger. Yes, armor class of 10. I don't think we really need to roll for damage. Yeah, it is most certainly dead. The shadow horror, feeling the whiff from the badger's bite attack go through its shadowy body, turns around and just backhands the badger into oblivion. The badger just explodes with an overkill of 12 hit points of damage. And the shadow horror slowly turns back to what it was doing. Alright. I think that then takes its turn away. Chase complications. There are no complications for the mysterious man. It is not looking good for him. He has used his Misty Step, and he cannot use it again. His abilities only allow it for once, as he does not have it as a normal spell. He's going to roll for insight, to see if he can sense the looming presence of the entity. With how close the entity is, I would say he needs a 12 or more. Nope. He got a 6. He has no clue how far away the entity is. He's still in a blind panic. He is exhausted, looking and jumping at any shadow that comes near him. Being beaten and by deers running through the forest. Well, you can't do much else. And we've already decided that he's moving in a northeasterly direction. His movement is halved, though, so 10. He can't go diagonal now. 15. That's as far as he can go. Oh, but he can still dash. So actually, it's not just 15, it's 30. So he can move a bit more. Okay, so 10. 20. 30. Aha! That's a little bit better. But still not great. Ooh, we're near the edge of the map. We went the right way. We're so close. Alright. Complication table. No complications for the giant spider. The giant spider now under attack. I need to see. Let me just check one thing. Okay, I was seeing if the spider, if like the entity had some kind of fear-inducing aura, but it doesn't seem to. This will be a contested intimidation check, I feel is the right move here, to see if the spider is afraid of the entity or not. I believe it would be, but who knows, it could be a very brave spider. Let's first do the entity. "34 intimidation from the entity. I wouldn't expect anything less. I don't think the spider can beat it, but nat 20s exceed on anything, regardless of what the DC is that they need to hit. If they get a nat 20, then they succeed. It will be to my discretion as to what happens, of course. I mean, I will not disregard the roll of 34 for intimidation. But it just means that the spider will not run away in a blind panic. It will stand its ground, but its legs are certainly still shaking. And it is thinking to itself, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I not running? I should run away. Why am I not running? So it will be down to my discretion as to what actually happens. So, with that said, the spider needs a nat 20 to not run away in fear. "15 overall being a 12. It is not good enough, and so it will certainly run away from the entity. Oracle, as the entity is now upon the spider, and the spider is most certainly intimidated by it, will it now give up its chase of the mysterious man and leave?" Yes, and the spider will give up the chase, and I guess it will take complete disregard as to where it's heading, so therefore he's basically heading towards the stream. Yes, but he'll stop at the edge of the stream? He won't fall in? No, he won't stop at the edge of the stream. So I guess he'll just keep going then. I can ignore the but, right? No. Okay. And I must think of something. He will head to the stream, but it must make an ability check of some sort. No. God damn it. What do you want from me, Oracle? Alright. You're overruled. The DM overrules you. Get out of the way, entity. 5, 10, 20, 30. Alright, the spider, as he runs in a panic through the trees, fumbles into the stream, will make its acrobatics check to see if it can somehow maneuver its way through the stream. You'll need a DC of 18 or more. It fails. The spider falling into the stream, splashing around in a wild panic, trying to get itself out. would need to do a constitution or athletics. Athletics is like a swimming ability. We'll make an athletics check at disadvantage. It needs a 10 or more not to sink. And if it succeeds, it's then treated as difficult terrain to get across the rest of the stream. At 10, it just manages to stay above water, but it is wildly thrashing around. I would say that takes up all the rest of its movement doing all of that then. Okay. Complications. There are no complications for the entity. After confirming that the entity would enjoy terrorizing the spider and killing it regardless, I will first do an insight check of the entity to see if it senses the presence of the mysterious man. With its bonuses, a passive insight of 25. With its passive insight of 20, I mean, I normally ignore passive rolls. I prefer to actually roll. We will say a DC of 15 or more. If it succeeds, it knows that the mysterious man is nearby. If it fails, then it's too caught up in bloodlust to killing that spider. I mean, that's still more. That's still enough. Even with a roll of a 4, it got a 19. That is still enough. So it knows the presence of the mysterious man nearby. Oracle. Would the entity still chase after the spider, regardless of the mysterious man being close by? Yes, and will the entity attempt to kill the spider as it chases the mysterious man? Yes. Ooh. Interesting. Therefore, it must make a ranged attack. Now, normally I rule in my games as well. So the Dungeon Master book, or the Player's Handbook, one of the two, it mentions that you can separate your actions from your movement as well. So you could move, if you move a total of 30 feet, you can move 10 feet, attack, move another 10 feet, and attack again if you're able to attack twice, that is, and then move the remaining 10 feet somewhere else. Or you could move, say, 15 feet, cast a spell, and then move 15 feet again. Normally I would rule that once you've moved to a location and done an action, then you can't do your move action. You can't continue your move action. Like, once you've moved your pawn and let go of it, then it then remains there. Then you've got the rest of your actions to do. But in this instance, I will allow the entity to move, attack, and continue to move. 5, 10, 20, 30. It has moved a total of 30. As the entity moves close to the stream and sees the spider splashing about, trying to keep itself above water, its 4 shadowy arms stretch out, its hands slowly turning from black to purple as it charges an eldritch blast, shooting 4 beams at it. From 1 beam, when reach higher, 2 beams, 3 beams, 4 beams. You can direct the beams at the same target or different ones. Make a separate attack roll for each beam. So So I'm going to make 4 attack rolls. 1. With a roll of a 2, it still gets a 19 on a roll of a 2. Oh my god. So yes, it has to critically fail in order to miss. 2, 3, that's another 2, 4, another 2, got 3 2s. 3 2s. Wow. This is turning out to be a very interesting chase scene. They all hit. Okay. 4 separate damage rolls. But they don't do 1d10 force damage. They're doing 4d10, right? Oh, it's all 1d10. Okay, you just shoot more beams, that's all. So there's nothing added to it. Wow. Well, damage coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very low rolls. The entity certainly does like playing with its prey. Dealing a total of 12 damage. Not really a lot. Certainly playing with its prey. Giant spider, on its last legs, struggling to survive within the water, receiving 4 eldritch blasts. I think it's fair we do a check for the spider to see if it drowns. Constitution saving throw. It will be a disadvantage as it is practically dead. With only... how many hit points left? 4 hit points left. It's going to need a DC of 15 or more. Wow, it succeeds! With an 18! The spider is clinging on to life. Wow, I was kind of expecting it to drown, but never mind. Continuing with the movement now. 30. 40. 50. 55. 60. 70. 80. 90. 100. The entity. Okay, this will then bring the chase to an end, unless we'll see, we'll do a last minute try to break free. As the entity will try to grapple, I believe it will easily do this. Contested strength checks from the entity and the mysterious man. Entity, strength 17. Mysterious man, strength 13. Place your bets now. Okay, here is the line. As the entity reaches out to grab the mysterious man. An 11. It is very good. It is a very good roll. Practically 50-50 here. Okay, mysterious man needs to beat an 11. It is very doable. The robed figure turns to check behind him, seeing this dark, looming cloud. 4 arms reaching out grabbing and pulling itself across the floor, its blue ethereal eyes burning, staring at him. The mysterious man's heart sinks as he sees his worst nightmare loom right over him. He tries with all his strength to break free. He got a 3. Unfortunately, the mysterious man is too exhausted to put up much more of a fight. He begins to accept his fate as 2 of the arms clasp him from either side and begin to lift him up from the ground. The mysterious man struggles to breathe. As a last attempt of desperation, he pushes out the words, "Odier." In doing so, fog and mist begin to whirl and form around the mysterious man, obscuring him from view, smothering him entirely. And after a few seconds, the mist subsides, and the entity's hands are now empty. We then cut to a man in his early 30s named Viktor Dragovich, entering the town of Odier. He presents himself very neatly, wearing a fine white shirt, black trousers, black shoes, and a fine black coat with a gold trim, which commands respect. His midnight hair is trimmed and brushed back with an equally trim and tidy black beard. People easily mistake him for a noble. The only concerning features are his red eyes and haunting demeanor. The cobblestone-paved streets are alive with song, cheer, and the laughter of children. All around you can see colorful ribbons and flowers hanging from buildings and windows as the sun casts its orange glow across the evening sky as it begins to set over the sleepy town of Odier. Today is the festival of Bambine, a celebration of young life and of future generations, a time where adults can be reacquainted with their inner child, and where children can all laugh and play and be spoiled rotten. Everyone is in the streets merrily bustling along. Children holding dolls and other toys are seen dashing between the townsfolk. Peddlers hawk their holiday wares. Toys and different colored scarves predominate the market. Even the adults are buying goods. At first, Victor appears to be intrigued with the people of Odier as he scans his surroundings, looking at everyone intently. But he is soon interrupted by a beautiful young woman in her early 20s, long brunette hair and welcoming smile, wearing a green and white floral dress. She coyly offers him a small marionette doll and asks,
Hi, this is like, whatever, but are you gonna be at the puppet show later tonight? It's at the Sekalo Theater.
She hands Victor a piece of paper advertising the show. No, Victor dismissing the conversation.
Yeah, me neither. It's a stupid show for children anyway. Will you be in town long? Maybe not long, but for like a week or two?
The lady begins to awkwardly ramble as Victor examines the ad. On the front are a few acrobats dramatically caught in mid-performance. Emblazoned in the middle is a large image of a jolly elderly man with snow-white hair, a short white beard, and rosy cheeks, holding 3 puppets.
So would you like to... I don't know.
Victor must now roll an investigation check DC 8 and an insight check DC 15. Alright, let's have a look-see. First up, we'll go for the investigation check. This should be an easy one. Investigation, I'm getting a +4. An 18. That's a success. And for the insight, we need a 15 or more. It's a 9. We fail the insight, but we pass the investigation. If we succeed on investigation, Victor notices beneath the puppets is some writing which reads, "Introducing Giuseppe's Dancing Figlio. A friend to all you boys and girls with absolutely no strings attached." The no strings attached part especially interests you. You understand it's less about the performance wanting you to do something for them, and more about how the puppet can move without strings. We failed the insight check, so we do not get that bit of information. The information I will provide on a separate video for things that we missed. That video will drop once the campaign is done. Victor then replies to the girl, on second thought, I will go.
You will? Oh, that's great. The show starts at sunset. I'll save you a seat.
She pecks him on the cheek.
Bye!
I need to make her move away. Do. And she just sprints off screen. Victor is not the least bit interested in her as he grunts in dismissal. Ugh. Victor walks through the crowd, examining the stalls and people as he goes. My name is Victor. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look, oh, I'm just looking at things. It's not long until he is interrupted again by an elderly woman who drapes a blue scarf around his neck. Hello, stranger. My, aren't you a handsome one? Greetings, my lady. Victor does a subtle bow. Oh, so polite, too. The old lady curtsies and then links arms with him. Say, you wouldn't mind doing a frail old lady a favor and help me take my bags home? You could regale me with your tales of the outside world if you like. Victor feels a gentle push as if he's being led somewhere as she hands him 3 big bags of stuff. He must now make a strength check, DC 12. Ah, that was almost a nat 20. It's a 5. Alright, he believes it must be a mixture of groceries and holiday merchandise from the stalls, and he struggles carrying it back to wherever she lives. These bags are very heavy indeed, even for him. Believe me, lady, my tales are enough to ruin anyone's holiday. I wouldn't want to dampen your mood. As we have them wandering off. Likely, I didn't prep the rest of the town. I'll likely head down in this direction. Oh, nonsense. When you get to my age, you've pretty much seen all and done all. There's nothing you can say that will surprise me.
All the same, I wish to spare you the details. Perhaps you can tell me about your town.
Oh dear. Well, what would you like to know? Not a lot happens here in our quiet little town. But its location is a godsend. The morning sun, the afternoon sunset, the light brightens our town so beautifully. Everyone feels at home here. You stay here too long, you might not want to leave yourself.
Has there been anything suspicious happened recently, or anything strange happened that you can remember?
Well, now that you mention it, I did see someone sneak off in the middle of the night.
Really?
Oh, yes. I took it upon myself to follow him. Out of town he went, over to the farmer's windmill, whispering and muttering to himself.
What did he look like?
Oh, I couldn't see, what with it being night time and all. That was until he started shooting fire from his hands. That's when I realized his hands were dragons.
His hands? Oh. Very funny.
Oh, you should have seen the look on your face. Oh, no, dear. As I mentioned, this is a quiet town.
I must now make a persuasion check. So this is going on from the question that we recently asked before she made that comment, the joke. This is the DC 14.
Not 20! Not 20!
We'll do a nat 20 forfeit. We got double strike. You hit 2 adjacent enemies. Okay, so essentially we didn't get anything then, because we're not in a battle, so that wouldn't mean anything. So we didn't get anything, but that's fine. With a nat 20. She begins to say,
but the only thing that's happened recently was over 20 years ago, when the toy maker's wife died. Oh, poor dear. Giuseppe's never been the same since.
Giuseppe?
Yes, he used to be such a jolly soul, always making new toys for the children and putting on the best performances for the Bambine Festival. But ever since his wife died, he's slowly shut himself off from the rest of us. He puts on a brave face each year for the festival, but we all see it's just a mask to hide his broken heart. The poor dear must be ever so lonely. Well, dear, thank you for your help. Would you like a cup of tea or anything?
Victor arrives at the old lady's home. No, thank you. I best be going. I have an errand I must do.
Okay, dear. Well, I hope you stick around a little longer. Maybe Odier is the ray of sunshine you've been looking for. Oh, also,
As we got the nat 20,
if you happen to go near the tavern, don't talk to the stranger at the bar. She's a very grouchy one, and not all too bright upstairs, neither. That woman give me the creeps.
Victor mutters to himself. The tavern, huh? So we got some extra bit of information there. So now that my character knows all this, we can actually play with that. So although I obviously wrote that out and prepped it and planned it, I wasn't going to go along with it unless my character actually succeeded and knew about it. So now that my character has the information, we can go to the tavern and go do some stuff. So that is where Victor will be heading. So what I'll do then, in terms of story, we will cut straight to the tavern. Which is, in terms of the map for Odier. Now, for those interested, the original design of the map, back in 1992, I believe, this is what the Odier map looked like. It's pretty basic. I mapped it all out. I was originally going to use this, but then saw that there was a more detailed battle map for Odier. And these were the 4 locations that were always known to you. The rest you kind of have to find and figure out on your own. Yep. So we have a much better looking one. So we will be heading down here. To the tavern. What is the tavern called? I don't know yet. I'll have a quick look at the story. If it doesn't have a name, we will give it a name. That's all we have time for this evening, but be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode of Solo Nights. Please be aware the next few episodes will be 30 minutes long in an attempt to give you more manageable episodes. However, if you find you prefer the hour-long episodes more, then leave a comment and let me know. Show your support by giving the video a like, share amongst your friends, and I'll catch you cool tabaxis later! That was lame. I need to talk with my manager about it. No, not that part of the blah blah blah. It's not a part of the story.